In the bustling city of Aerindale, music was more than entertainment. It was a lifeline. Every year, the Starbound Orchestra performed a symphony that resonated so deeply with the people, it was said to rejuvenate their souls and keep the city alive. The orchestra's maestro, Alaric, was a reclusive genius. Despite his fame, few had ever seen him off stage. Whispers floated through the city that he wasn't entirely human, that his music held celestial power. Mira, a young violinist, had dreamed of playing with the Starbound Orchestra since childhood. When she was offered a seat in the ensemble, she couldn't believe her luck. But when rehearsals began, she noticed something unusual. The music they played seemed to stir not just emotions, but the very fabric of reality. On her first night at the Grand Aerindale Hall, Mira stayed behind after rehearsal, drawn by the haunting melody Alaric had been composing. She crept to the back of the stage, where the maestro stood alone, his hands moving fluidly as he conducted an unseen orchestra. The air shimmered, and faint figures of light began to appear, ghostly musicians who joined Alaric in playing the unfinished symphony. Mira gasped, and the music stopped. Alaric turned, his piercing silver eyes meeting hers. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice as commanding as his music. I didn't mean to intrude," Mira stammered. "But what is this?" "This," Alaric said, gesturing to the glowing figures, "is the Starbound Symphony. And it must be completed before it's too late." The next morning, Mira arrived at rehearsal filled with questions. But Alaric gave no indication of their encounter, conducting the orchestra as if nothing had happened. During a break, Mira approached Elena, a seasoned cellist. "Does Maestro Alaric ever act strange?" she asked cautiously. Elena's expression darkened. "Strange isn't the word. He's brilliant, but there's something otherworldly about him. Some say the Starbound Symphony is what keeps Aerindale standing. Without it, the city would crumble." Mira's stomach tightened. Why hasn't anyone questioned him? "Because the music works," Elena said simply. That evening, Mira couldn't resist returning to the hall. This time, she brought her violin, determined to understand Alaric's secret. As the midnight hour approached, Alaric appeared on stage, holding a baton that seemed to pulse with light. "You're persistent," he said without looking at her. "I want to help," Mira replied, stepping forward. Alaric studied her for a moment, then nodded. "Very well. Play." Mira raised her violin and began to play a melody from the symphony. The notes felt heavier than usual, as if they carried a weight she didn't fully understand. As she played, the ghostly musicians reappeared, their forms growing more solid. But the music faltered and the figures flickered. Alaric frowned. "The symphony is incomplete. And if we don't finish it, Aerindale will fall." The next day, Alaric called a private rehearsal with Mira. "There's something you need to know," he said. He led her to a hidden room beneath the hall, where a massive, glowing harp stood at the center. Its strings shimmered with light, and strange runes were etched into its golden frame. "This is the celestial harp," Alaric said. "It's the heart of the Starbound Symphony, gifted to us by the Celestials to keep the balance of our world. But its power is fading." Mira's eyes widened. "Why is it fading?" "Because the final movement of the symphony remains unwritten," Alaric explained. "Only a complete performance can recharge the harp." "Then why haven't you finished it?" Mira asked. Alaric looked away. "Because the final movement requires a sacrifice." Mira's breath caught. "What kind of sacrifice?" Alaric didn't answer, but his silence spoke volumes. As the date of the performance approached, the tension in the orchestra grew. The musicians sensed that this year's symphony would be different, though none knew why. Mira practiced tirelessly, her connection to the music deepening. She felt as if the notes were speaking to her, guiding her towards something she couldn't yet see. On the night before the performance, Alaric summoned the orchestra for one last rehearsal. "This will be the most important symphony we've ever played," he told them. "Follow my lead and don't falter." As they played, the hall transformed. The ghostly musicians joined them, their forms now fully solid, their faces filled with emotion. The music surged, and Mira felt the weight of the final movement pressing on her. When the rehearsal ended, Alaric approached Mira. "You felt it, haven't you?" he asked. She nodded. "The symphony, it's alive." Alaric placed a hand on her shoulder. "Tomorrow, we must finish it. And when we do, the choice will be yours." The Grand Aerindale Hall was packed to capacity. The audience buzzed with anticipation, unaware of the stakes. As the orchestra began to play, the music flowed like a river, carrying the listeners into a realm of light and shadow. Mira's violin sang with a clarity she had never achieved before, and Alaric conducted with an intensity that bordered on otherworldly. When they reached the final movement, the celestial harp glowed brighter than ever. Mira felt the music pulling her toward the harp, its strings vibrating in harmony with her violin. Alaric's voice echoed in her mind. "The choice is yours, Mira. Play the final note, and the symphony will save Aerindale. But it will cost you everything." Mira hesitated, her heart pounding. She thought of her family, her dreams, and the life she had worked so hard to build. But she also thought of the city, the people who depended on the music to survive. With tears streaming down her face, she raised her bow and played the final note. The harp's light exploded, filling the hall with a radiant glow. The audience gasped as the ghostly musicians dissolved, their energy flowing into the harp. When the light faded, Alaric stood alone on the stage, his baton lowered. Mira was gone. The audience erupted into applause, unaware of her sacrifice. In the days that followed, Aerindale flourished. The city seemed brighter, its people more vibrant. But in the quiet corners of the hall, some claimed to hear a violin playing softly, its melody filled with sorrow and hope. And in the heavens, a new star appeared, shining brightly over Aerindale, a reminder of the violinist who gave everything for her music.